86 those patties, Krabs. We just got a call about 2 ghouls burying a stiff over by Shallow Grave Road.
I want a soda.
Here's your soda. Always a pleasure to serve the folks in blue. Well, goodbye now.
Hey, there's no ice.
Ice? Ice? You want ice? Is that what you want? You want ice? Is that what you want?
The dark deed you requested is done, sir.
I'll get it myself. Ice is in the freezer, right?
There is no ice. There's never been any ice. Ice is just a myth.
Step aside. You people act like you've committed a murder.
Okay, I confess. SpongeBob killed him.
What? You can't pin this whole rap on me.
He was insane, out of control. He would have killed me too if you hadn't come
It
along.
was all Mr. Krabs' idea.
Put him down now. He's a mad dog.
He wears curlers to bed.
Wait, it's not what you think.
What are you two talking about?
We killed the health inspector, buried him, and then stuffed his body in the freezer.
You mean in here?
It's empty.
Is this some kind of a joke?
Yeah, a joke.
Say, maybe he turned into a zombie and walked out.
The storm lashed against the Krusty Krab's windows like an angry jellyfish stinging the glass. Inside, the restaurant buzzed with nervous energy as SpongeBob meticulously arranged pickles into a perfect spiral on a Krabby Patty. Mr. Krabs paced behind the counter, his claw tapping an anxious rhythm against the cash register. "Today's the day, lad," Krabs whispered, eyes darting toward the door. "The health inspector be comin', and if he finds one speck o' grease out of place, he'll shut us down faster than a clam at low tide." SpongeBob's eyes widened. "Oh, barnacles, I'll make sure everything's ship-shape, Mr. Krabs. Every fry will be fried to perfection, every napkin folded with military precision." He saluted so hard his arms spun like a propeller. Just then, the door creaked open. A tall, gaunt figure in a pristine white suit stepped inside, rain dripping from his umbrella. His name tag read, Health Inspector. "Good afternoon," the inspector said in a monotone voice that made SpongeBob shiver. "I'm here to inspect the Krusty Krab." Mr. Krabs forced a smile that looked more like a grimace. "Welcome, welcome. Make yourself at home. SpongeBob, show the good inspector around." For the next hour, SpongeBob demonstrated his flawless routine, flipping patties with surgical precision, cleaning surfaces with obsessive thoroughness, even showing how he alphabetized the condiment bottles. The inspector scribbled notes without expression, his pen moving like a metronome. Then came the moment Krabs had been dreading. "I'll need to sample the food," the inspector announced, pulling out a small notebook. "A Krabby Patty, if you please." Krabs' face turned the color of spoiled kelp. "Of course, right away," he whispered frantically to SpongeBob. "The secret recipe, the nasty patty. We've got no choice." SpongeBob's eyes watered. "But Mr. Krabs, that recipe has rotten plankton, moldy cheese, and barnacle guts," Krabs hissed. "Aye, but it's the only patty we've got ready. Just serve it with extra pickles to hide the smell." With trembling hands, SpongeBob plated the abomination, a patty that shimmered with unnatural green hues, oozing a suspicious purple liquid. He added 3 pickles in a desperate attempt to mask the stench. The inspector took a bite, and another, and another. His expression never changed. Then, halfway through the 3rd bite, he froze. His eyes widened. He clutched his chest. "Inspector?" Krabs asked, voice cracking. Are ye all right?" The inspector's spoon clattered to the plate. His face turned ashen. He gasped once, twice, then slid silently from his stool, hitting the floor with a sickening thud. His notebook fell open, revealing a single word written in bold. "Failed." Silence. SpongeBob's voice was a whisper. Is he taking a nap?" Krabs knelt beside the body, pressing 2 claws to the inspector's neck. His face went pale. Sweet Neptune's beard. "He's not napping." He looked up, eyes wide with terror. "He's dead." SpongeBob's knees buckled. "Dead? But he just ate a patty. People don't die from Krabby Patties. Unless..." His voice rose to a hysterical squeak. "Unless it was the nasty patty." "Shh!" Krabs clamped a claw over SpongeBob's mouth. "Do I want the whole ocean to hear? We've got to move fast." He scanned the restaurant, empty now except for them and the corpse. "We'll hide him, in the freezer, just until we figure this out." Together, They dragged the stiffening body toward the walk-in freezer. SpongeBob sobbed quietly as Krabs shoved the inspector behind boxes of frozen Krabby Patty ingredients. "There! Out of sight, out of mind!" Krabs panted. But as Krabs turned to leave, he noticed something. The inspector's notebook had fallen open to a page marked Plankton's Evidence. Krabs snatched it up, scanning the text with growing horror. "Plankton," Krabs breathed. "He wanted this to happen. He must have tampered with the nasty patty. Made it deadly." SpongeBob wiped tears. "So it's not our fault, it's Plankton's?" "Aye, but who'll believe us? The evidence points straight to us." Krabs paced frantically. "We need to make it look like an accident, or like he's still alive." They hatched a desperate plan. SpongeBob called the inspector's office. "Hello, this is the health inspector's assistant. He's currently inspecting a very complicated drain. We'll call back when he surfaces." Krabs, meanwhile, scrubbed every surface, destroying fingerprints, while SpongeBob recreated the inspector's notes using Krabs' best handwriting. For 3 days, they maintained the charade. SpongeBob called the office twice daily with increasingly absurd excuses. He's currently measuring the curvature of this pickle. Krabs bribed Squidward to lie about seeing the inspector leave. But on the 4th day, reality crashed down. A police siren echoed through Bikini Bottom. Officer Nancy pulled up outside, her expression grim. "Mr. Krabs, SpongeBob, we need to talk about Health Inspector Jenkins." Krabs forced a smile. "Why, officer, what brings you?" "We found his car abandoned near Goo Lagoon. And this." She held up a waterlogged notebook page. "It says he was coming here for an inspection and never left." SpongeBob's eyes darted toward the freezer. "Oh, the inspector. He left hours ago. Didn't you see him? Tall fellow, white suit, very inspecty." Officer Nancy stepped inside, her gaze sweeping the room. "Funny," his wife called, said he always checks in after inspections, especially when he fails a place. She stopped at the freezer door. "Mind if I take a look?" Krabs blocked her path. "That's highly irregular. Health code violation to inspect the freezer unannounced." "Move, Krabs." Officer Nancy drew her nightstick, "or I'll move you." As she pulled open the freezer door, SpongeBob crumpled to his knees. The boxes had been moved. The inspector's arm hung visible, pale and stiff, fingers curled like dead coral. "Oh, barnacles," SpongeBob whispered. "We're doomed." Officer Nancy radioed for backup, her voice tight. "Suspects in custody, possible homicide, requesting coroner, and body bag." At the police station, the truth unraveled. The coroner's report was damning. Cause of death, acute toxicity from contaminated food product. Traces of Plankton brand growth serum detected, but primary toxin matches Krusty Krab's secret recipe ingredients. Mr. Krabs screamed during interrogation. "It was Plankton. He framed us. Check his lab." But Plankton had covered his tracks. Security footage showed him nowhere near the Krusty Krab that day. SpongeBob sat in a holding cell, staring at his reflection in the steel wall. His normally cheerful face was hollow, tear-streaked. "I just wanted to make patties," he whispered to no one. "I didn't want anyone to... He couldn't finish the sentence. The trial was swift. The evidence was overwhelming. Krabs' financial records showed he'd purchased the toxic ingredients. SpongeBob's fingerprints were on the patty wrapper, and the nasty patty recipe was found hidden in Krabs' safe. On sentencing day, the courtroom was packed. Patrick held a sign that read, "Free SpongeBob, he's too cute to be bad," while Sandy adjusted her courtroom-approved air helmet. The judge removed his gavel. For the willful poisoning and murder of Health Inspector Jenkins, this court sentences Eugene H. Krabs and SpongeBob SquarePants to 25 years to life in the Bikini Bottom State Penitentiary. No possibility of parole for 25 years. Krabs howled as bailiffs led them away. "It's not fair. It was just business." But SpongeBob didn't resist. He looked broken, empty, a yellow ghost of his former self. As the cell door clanged shut behind them, Krabs turned on SpongeBob, eyes blazing with betrayal. "This is your fault, lad. If ye hadn't made the patty so perfectly deadly." SpongeBob didn't look up. His voice was barely audible. I think I wanted him to die." He finally met Krabs' gaze, tears cutting clean paths through the prison grime on his face. "When he said we failed, I got so angry. I wanted him to hate the patty." Krabs recoiled. This wasn't the innocent fry cook he knew. This was something new, something dark. Outside the prison walls, the sun rose over Bikini Bottom. The Krusty Krab sign hung crooked, covered in seaweed. A single closed sign swung in the current. and somewhere in the distance, a certain green businessman adjusted his monocle, watching the news report with a satisfied smirk. The camera pulled back to show the storm clouds gathering once more over the ocean. The narrator's voice echoed, heavy with finality. Oh, a dark and stormy night. It's nights like this that remind me of the time Mr.Krabs and SpongeBob did kill the health inspector. And for the first time in Bikini Bottom's history, the laughter had stopped. The heavy iron doors of Bikini Bottom State Penitentiary creaked open. For the first time since their sentencing, SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs shuffled into the visitation hall, chains clinking. SpongeBob's eyes were still hollow, dark bags sagging beneath them like anchors. Krabs scowled, muttering curses about lawyers and crooked judges. On the other side of the glass sat three familiar faces: Sandy Cheeks, Squidward Tentacles, and Patrick Star. Patrick slammed his face against the glass. "SpongeBob, buddy! Don't worry. I baked you a cake with a key inside." He lifted a dripping sponge cake. Inside the frosting was an actual car key. Squidward sighed. "Patrick, you moron, do you want them to lock us up too?" Sandy leaned forward, her voice calm but determined. "Don't you worry, SpongeBob. We ain't giving up on you. I've been running some numbers, analyzing the coroner's report, and something smells fishier than a sardine smoothie." SpongeBob's voice cracked. "It doesn't matter, Sandy. The judge said I did it. Maybe I did. Maybe I wanted him to hate the patty. Maybe I wanted him to." Krabs slammed a claw on the table, rattling the glass. "Shut your yap, boy. Don't give him more reason to throw us in the chum bucket. We stick to the story." But Sandy cut him off. "That's just it, Krabs. We know you forced SpongeBob to make the nasty patty, and I'm going to prove it." Krabs froze. His eyes darted. For the first time, his bluster faltered. Back in Sandy's tree dome, the trio gathered evidence. Squidward reluctantly flipped through the inspector's notebook, adjusting his glasses. Squidward. Ugh, look at this handwriting. So neat, so precise, definitely not Krabs. This was SpongeBob's forgery, wasn't it? Yup. But look here. She points to a chemical analysis report tucked in the back. Traces of Plankton's growth serum were found in the patty. The court brushed it off as inconclusive, but I've tested the formula myself. That serum only comes from the Chum Bucket's lab. You mean Plankton was in on it too? Then SpongeBob's innocent? Not exactly. SpongeBob still made the patty, but Krabs forced him and Plankton tampered with it. That makes SpongeBob guilty of negligence, but not murder. Fantastic. So instead of a murderer, he's just a reckless fry cook who listened to his greedy boss. That's so much better. Don't worry, Squidward. When SpongeBob gets out, we'll have a welcome back from murder jail party. Patrick, do me a favor and never, ever speak again. A week later, the retrial began. The courtroom was tense, news cameras flashing. SpongeBob sat at the defendant's table, wringing his hands into soggy knots. Krabs sat beside him, sweating buckets. The judge banged the gavel. Court is now in session for the appeal of Eugene Krabs and SpongeBob SquarePants. The prosecutor smirked. Your Honor, the state rests on the overwhelming evidence. The toxic patty was made here, not the defendant served it. End of story. Sandy shot up. Objection, there's new evidence. She slapped a folder on the bench. Chemical traces from the inspector's stomach show Plankton's serum, and as for SpongeBob, he only made the patty because Krabs ordered him to. The courtroom buzzed with gasps. The prosecutor sneered, and you can prove this with witnesses. One by one, employees and customers testified. Squidward described how Krabs barked orders and threatened SpongeBob's job. Patrick, in his own bizarre way, insisted, SpongeBob's too nice to kill anyone. He won't even step on a jellyfish without crying for a week. Finally, Sandy rolled in a portable video screen. And here's the clincher, security footage from across the street. The grainy black and white video flickered to life. It showed the night of the inspection. In the background, barely visible, a tiny one-eyed figure in a lab coat poured something into a delivery box labeled Krusty Krab Supplies. Plankton. The courtroom erupted. Plankton jumped from the gallery, screaming, It was supposed to be flawless, the perfect frame job. You meddling morons ruined everything. Before he could escape, two officers tackled him to the floor. The judge slammed his gavel. Order! Order! This court finds Sheldon J. Plankton guilty of tampering with food products, conspiracy, and obstruction of justice. He is hereby sentenced to life imprisonment in a maximum security cell. As Plankton was dragged away, he shrieked, I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for that blasted squirrel and her science toys. The judge turned back to SpongeBob and Krabs. Judge, as for you, Eugene Krabs, this court finds you guilty of coercion, negligence, and endangering public safety. You will serve 15 years in prison, no parole. Krabs collapsed. No! Me money! Me beautiful money! Judge, and SpongeBob SquarePants, while you are guilty of preparing the patty, it is clear you were pressured by Mr. Krabs and manipulated by Plankton's tampering. Your sentence is hereby reduced to time served in custody, with probation and 15 years of mandatory community service. SpongeBob gasped. Community service? You mean I'm free? Free, but watched closely. One more slip up, and you're back behind bars. The gavel came down with a thunderous crack. Outside the courthouse, the sun shone over Bikini Bottom. SpongeBob stepped into the light, breathing deep for the first time in months. Patrick hugged him so hard he nearly suffocated. You're free! We can play Jellyfish Field all day. Not exactly, Patrick. I've got work to do. 15 years of it. Squidward crossed his arms. Well, at least I don't have to share a cell with you. That's the only silver lining here. Sandy patted SpongeBob's shoulder. Don't worry, SpongeBob. Community service ain't a punishment. It's a chance to rebuild yourself. You'll make it. As police escorted Krabs away in chains, his voice bellowed from the van. Curse you, SpongeBob. Curse you all. Ye betrayed me. SpongeBob didn't flinch. For once, he didn't feel like the naive fry cook anymore. He looked at his friends, then back at the horizon. Maybe I did mess up, he whispered. But from now on, I'm going to fix things, one barnacle at a time. The camera panned upward, past the courthouse, past the rooftops of Bikini Bottom, until it reached the sea above. The storm clouds had finally cleared, but the faint echo of Plankton's manic laughter lingered, proof that in the ocean's depths, villains never truly rest. And so, SpongeBob's punishment began, not with handcuffs, but with responsibility.